Our first question for this week, or it's really an activity, is to go to the Australian Bureau of Statistics website and find the most up-to-date data on the following. Seasonally adjusted employed persons, so the number of people employed at present. Seasonally adjusted unemployed persons, so the number of people who are unemployed. Seasonally adjusted unemployment rate, and seasonally adjusted participation rate. Okay, let's go to the website and see what we can find. So here we are at the Australian Bureau of Statistics website, and we want to find data that's about the labour force. So we've got unemployment here. If we click on this link, we're probably going to find information about the labour force. And that is indeed the case. We've got data that's trend data and seasonally adjusted data. There's not a huge difference between these, really. Seasonally adjusted data is when we take the raw data and we remove seasonal fluctuations from it, such as there's changes in the number of people employed and unemployed at Christmas time and New Year and Easter and Anzac Day. These are seasonal fluctuations that we are not really interested in. They're always going to be there, so we want to remove them from the data. But there are also other regular variations in the raw data that we might also want to eliminate as not really indicating anything about changes in the economy, such as in the school holiday periods you get changes in the number of people who are employed or unemployed, right? Because students go out and they might try and find work, for example, and when they go back to school they stop working. Or university students, when university graduation periods come, then you get a flood of students who enter the labour market looking for work. Now, these variations are not really about seasons or anything like that, but they are regular fluctuations that occur, and we're not really interested in them either. So we can eliminate them as well. And so when we eliminate the seasonal factors and these other regular variations, we get the trend data. We can graphically see, this is just to illustrate the point, the differences between the raw data, seasonally adjusted data, and then trend data. If we say this is the unemployment rate going from 2002 to 2011, that's the raw data there. Now if you eliminate the seasonal fluctuations from that, then you get this kind of data, and you can see that it's much less craggy. See these regular blips here? They've been eliminated now, so you get a slightly smoother curve. But if we then eliminate all of these, some of these other craggy bits, which are other regular fluctuations which occur, which are independent of how the economy is going, then we get a trend curve, which is a much smoother curve. And hopefully this better reflects what's happening to the economy overall, independent of these regular fluctuations which occur week to week, month to month, year to year. Anyway, we were being asked about seasonally adjusted data. So here we are, employed people, and we're looking for the latest one, which is March. So the number of people employed in March 2020 was 13,017,600 people. There you go. What about the number of unemployed people? Well, that was 718,600 people. We also wanted the unemployment rate. That's here. It's a rate, so it's a percentage. So the unemployment rate was 5.2%, and the participation rate is 66%. So that's the answer to that. We're also asked, how would you calculate the following? How would you calculate the size of the labour force? So just in principle, how would you do that? The size of the labour force is just the number of people who are employed plus the number of people who are unemployed. Voila, the size of the labour force is 13,736,100 people. It's the number of people participating in the labour force. What about the participation rate? The participation rate is going to be the labour force divided by the working age population. So it's the fraction of the working age population who is either employed or looking to be employed. But what about the working age population? In order to find that, we're going to have to go back to the Bureau of Stats website to find that information. But before we do that, let's go to this one, the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is going to be the number of people unemployed divided by the labour force. And we have all the information we need for that. That's straightforward. But let's go back to this question here. How do we find this? Let's go to the Bureau of Statistics website and have a look. So here we are again. We'll go back into the data here. Now, the data here doesn't show us what we want. So what we need to do is go to Downloads, and there's a whole bunch of files here which have data in them. And we'll just take the first one because this has all the information about the labour force. And in addition to that, it divides up according to male and female as well. And there's all these other ones as well, but we're only interested in this as the most general one. So we'll grab that, we'll download it, we'll open it, and what we want to find is working age population. Civilian population over the age of 15, that's what we want. That's our working age population. So we want it just for persons, all persons. So we're going to click on that link, and it takes us to this column here. And this column goes back to 1978, so let's go all the way to the bottom. Ta-da! The working age population is 20,820,200 people. Anyway, you don't have to go and look at the raw data itself. You don't need to do that because they calculate the participation rate for you. So it was at 66% of the working age population is participating in the labour force.